Hello everyone, welcome to another video. What you see on the screen is the desktop of Catbird Linux. Yes, it looks a lot like Skywave Linux because it's the same basic system except the main software packages are different. This system is all about scraping data from the web, accessing databases, and doing a bit of data science. So it's not so much radio-oriented as it is data-oriented. The reason I'm using this one is because we're going to talk about a necessary protection if you're busy on the web, and that's VPN. In fact, we're going to talk about Wireguard VPN, and we'll use FZF and Rofi to make VPN management a bit more of a pleasant experience. So, Wireguard is a wonderful VPN. It offers strong security, high bandwidth, without high RAM or CPU usage. There's very good in-kernel support in Linux. This is not a video about installing Wireguard, but I want to give a couple of tips. Use a recent kernel. Install Wireguard tools. And to do the things that I'm going to show you in this video, you'll need to have FZF, Rofi, and FD. If you don't want to use FD, you can substitute find. And it'll be up to you to make changes in the scripts and aliases to use find instead of FD. The commands are pretty similar for either one, just minor changes. There's a tool called WG-Quick, which is part of Wireguard tools. WG-Quick simplifies usage of the WG utility. WG is one of the core packages within Wireguard VPN. It's a pain in the neck to use it, though. The commands are cryptic. If you're using Ubuntu, you have to interact with systemd. You send systemctl commands. If you have them all memorized to know them by heart, that's great. I would rather create an alias and send 4-character commands instead of a long string of things. So that's why I have created some aliases to help manage the configuration files and to bring the VPN up or down. So we'll use aliases in the terminal and the FZF utility. When operating in a more graphical manner, we'll use the menu Wireguard script, which I'll show you, and that applies the same fuzzy finding characteristics to Rofi. Let's talk first about our alias for managing the config files. WG-XFR, WG transfer. Its purpose is to move config files from any folder, whether it's an external USB that you've plugged in, or perhaps your download folder, or somewhere else. It moves config files from there into the etc Wireguard folder, which the VPN will use. Once the files are moved, it will set restrictive permissions to them. If we move over to the right side of the screen, I'll talk a bit about the alias and what happens. When you are in the terminal and you enter WG-XFR, the alias will then operate on the command FD for find to a depth of 2 levels, which means the folder where you're located plus 1 folder deeper. So you can be in your home folder and execute this, and it will look into your downloads folder, for example, and find config files. So type of file with the extension conf. The list will go into Fox Zulu Foxtrot, the FZF tool. We have multi-select enabled. Hide the preview window. Set the layout in reverse so that FZF puts the menu up in the top left corner of your terminal window. You'll make a selection of the files that you want to copy, and when you enter the last one, the command will be sent sudo copy those files into etc Wireguard. After that, change permissions, make them readable and writable by root, readable within the group, and no access for others, so no world access to those files once you've moved them. The next alias is WG UP, Wireguard up, I call it. It's a fuzzy finder menu, and it's what you use to connect to a server or peer. Take a look over here on the right side, the alias, WG UP. What it will do is look at the files, take the base name, strip off the .conf on the end, and send a list through FZF. You'll be presented with a list of servers, essentially. Each config file represents a server account. You'll select one of them, and at that point, the alias will send the commands to bring up WG quick, initiate a connection to that server. Now, it's true, in Wireguard you can have multiple connections to different peers. So I do not have multi-select enabled for this alias. If you want to put it in yourself, go right ahead. But I didn't think it was necessary. All you need is one good server, and you have a operating VPN connection. The last of the aliases is WGDN, Wireguard down. It's another fuzzy finder menu, and it disconnects from the server or peer. In the alias code, to break that connection, you enter WGDN in the terminal, and it first sends the command as a normal user, WG. When you do that, you get an error message. It tells you that it can't do anything, but it does give you a list of the current peers. So we'll take that information, push it through, strip out and keep lines that have the word interface, take the fifth member of the field, which is the identifier for the server. Strip off a colon, and you will be presented with a very nice, clean list of the peers. Select the one for which you want to break the connection. Again, most people only operate with one server connected. Just select it, hit enter, and the command goes out, WG quick down for that peer. And that's the end of the connection. If you want to operate in a more graphical manner, then use the menu Wireguard script. That brings up Rofi. Rofi works very, very similarly to FZF. Here's the script. It's bash. We'll first define some variables. Option 1, connect. Option 2, disconnect. Option 3, copy configs. So those are in one string. The delimiter is the new line character. Push that through Rofi, and you will be presented with a list. What do you want to do? Connect, disconnect, copy configs. You choose one of these. After you've made your choice, then the software is going to do one of three things. If you have chosen copy config files, then it will do something similar to what the alias did with FZF. This one is going to get a list of those files, run them through Rofi, show you a list, and then when you select one or more than one of those, they'll be copied over to the etc Wireguard directory. If you choose disconnect, it'll present you a list of the peers. Select one or all, and you'll be disconnected. If you choose to connect to a server, what's going to happen is right here in option 1, just as in the alias, the script is going to look at the files in etc Wireguard, strip off the .conf, push that whole group through Rofi, and you will be presented with a list. And then you select what you want to connect to. The command goes out, wg quick up, and you will be connected just that easily. Let's do something here. I have a few config files in my download folder. We're going to first operate in the terminal. I'll send the wg transfer command. On the right side is a graphical file manager showing us the empty etc Wireguard directory. So let's give it a try. wg xfr to transfer. Here's a list. Now with FZF you will use multi-select by hitting the tab key. So there's one. I'll skip one, select the third and fourth. To execute this, hit enter, and they are transferred over. They're copied over to the etc Wireguard folder. All right, let's connect to a server. wg up. Which one do we want to connect to? Canada 1, US 1, US 2? How about Canada 1? And there it is. Hey, let's try something. Let's try a ping on Google's servers. Oh, that's not good. Methinks the local ISP in the country where I happen to be have found it and they're blocking the connection. Look at that. Nothing from the ping. Let's take that connection down. WGDN. Yes, that one. Kill it. Boom. Connections closed. Let's try WG up again. How about server US2? Okay. Hey, now the pings work. 354 milliseconds. That is absolutely criminal. But it is working. All right. Let's take it down. And that's that. To demonstrate this in the graphical mode, I'm going to delete the config files in the etc Wireguard directory. We'll do it on the command line. Remove, actually, because of where it is, sudo remove. Wireguard, in a split second, they're taken away. They're gone. Super R to bring up Rofi. WIR for Wireguard. Trims the menu. All right, we're not going to connect. We are not going to disconnect yet. We're going to copy configs. There's the list of config files which happen to be sitting in my downloads folder. In Rofi, multi-select with Shift-Enter. So Shift-Enter, Shift-Enter, Shift-Enter. One more, Shift-Enter. And then Enter. And that fast, in the blink of an eye, they're copied across. Back to Rofi. Connect to Canada 2. Since we don't have this running in a terminal window, there's no feedback. But take a look at this. Wireguard does think that we're connected because when I go into the disconnect menu, it offers that server as an option for disconnecting. And let's try something else. We'll bring up Firefox and we'll go to checkip.org, see what it says. With these half-second ping times, boy, that is so slow. checkip.org. So there's a bit of handshaking. Here's the IP address of that server. That's wonderful. How about goip.com? I think it's called What's My IP? See what that one tells us. Anything? Anything? Bueller? Huh. Says I'm in the UK. That's wonderful. I thought it was coming out of Canada. Hey, let's try something else. Let's kill this for a moment. And let's take that thing down. Disconnect Canada 2. Let's try United States 2. Let's see what WireGuard thinks about our connection status. It seems to think we're connected. Let's bring up Firefox again. What's my IP? Now there's a lie. Look at that. Secure connection not available. Oh, yes, it is. Number one, we're trying to enter that. It says go to the HTTP site without the secure sockets. I say BS on that. Just try it again. This time it seems to be coming up. New Jersey. Wonderful. Wonderful. So it works. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have just seen a demonstration of FZF and Rofi as tools you can use for a more simple, less pain in the neck experience with WireGuard. And If you're interested in using this yourself, you could just watch the video and painstakingly copy the data, or go to the GitHub repo AB9IL. AB9IL at github.com. Look in there for a menu WireGuard, or in my .files for the aliases, that and a bunch of other aliases and code that might be useful to you. Thank you for watching.